The Wheel of Time turns, and the age that once gave birth to the myth that is the massive Wheel of Time series of books has come again, in order to finally bring this fantasy epic to our screens. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Glorious Reacts. Before we begin, I would like to introduce ourselves. I'm the Thrilla in Manila, Joel, and with me are our glorious reactors. First, we have the Thunder from Down Under, Arnold. Say hello, Arnold.
I like it. I have a moniker now.
You have to adapt it now.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like it.
All right. And we also have with us the Singapore Sling. It's Paul. Say hello, Paul.
Hello.
All right. In this episode of Glorious Reacts, we discuss episode 4 of the Wheel of Time series, entitled The Dragon Reborn, as streamed on Amazon Prime's video streaming service. Before we continue, I would like to inform you, dear audience, that this is not a spoiler-free show, and we will talk directly about events that transpired in the latest episode, most of which will reveal key story elements. If you haven't watched the latest episode or any episodes of The Wheel of Time and would like to remain unspoiled, please stop here. Stop. Really, stop. And then just come back once you're all caught up. Without further ado, let's get the wheel turning. In episode 4 of The Wheel of Time, we continue to keep track of the different threads that our main characters have spun themselves onto after getting separated in Shadar Logoth. Matt and Rand, accompanied by the Gleeman Tom Merlin, as they continue their escape from the previous episode. Perrin and Egwene taking shelter with the Tuatha'an, and Moiraine, Lan, and Nynaeve joining the rest of the Aes Sedai, who have just recently captured Logain, the self-professed Dragon Reborn prophesied to arrive at the end of the age. All hell breaks loose as Logain's army, headed by no less than the king, attempts to overrun the Aes Sedai camp, allowing Logain the chance to break free of his bonds, only to be overshadowed by someone with surprising ability to touch the One Power. Okay, for this episode of Glorious Reacts, we're gonna try something new. So I'm gonna head the discussion here, and our glorious reactors will just give their thoughts about the episode. So let's start with our top takeaway. All right, who wants to start?
Wait, before we start, I just want to say, Logain, the self-professed Dragon Reborn.
Yes.
The
Yes.
professor. He was a professor.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Yes.
bring it up. Obviously, he had the professor in Money Heist, wasn't it?
Yeah, he played. Yes. Wow, you got the Easter egg that I put down there. All right.
I
So
like
even
it.
our episodes have Easter eggs, guys.
I know. It'll be amazing if somebody actually bothers trying to point it out later on. But here. Well done, though.
All right. So anyway, let's start with Paul. Paul, give us your top takeaways from episode 4.
Okay, so the episode made me the episode was very revealing in I guess in a way it highlighted the power structure within the Aes Sedai, which is what I really liked about it. You get to see a little bit of the inner politics that's taking place, because we don't see that from before. The 3 episodes prior, there's just a lot of like adventure and traveling and different places and different.
This is the first time we see more
mythology
than,
and background.
This is the first time we see more than one type of Aes Sedai.
Yeah, more than one Aja. Aja.
Except ever since the first episode,
Yeah.
where we see the reds, yeah. So I like the dynamic of where we know that there's some political play happening, and it's not just within the Aes Sedai. Well, even with the king trying to rescue Logain, that's also, I guess, in a way, politics. Okay, so that's one. The second one is we discover that Matt, during the escape from Shadar Logoth, actually brought something with him. So we all thought it was just a ruby ruby dagger.
Well, not all of us.
Oh, okay.
I
I
knew
too
because
heard
I've read
the
the
whispering
Right.
voices.
So I thought that it was just the ruby hilted dagger, but
Yeah, the Ruby Hilton
then
Dagger.
we discover.
One thing that that was not shown though in that episode was that he barfed out all of that
His
nanobots.
the effects of the Ruby Hilton
Yeah,
Dagger.
we
on him.
we never knew where it came from. It just came
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Right.
Mhm.
Now we actually saw it.
And then I guess in that just an additional point is the when he points the dagger and then the fade. That was like, what does that mean? It's like, what
Mm.
is the power within
Yeah.
him? Is
Yes.
that different from the fade? So that's a little bit of
It's
you know.
again it's a lot of world building that the showrunners the people behind the series are doing. They're showing us like what you said, right? You've got the power play within the Aes Sedai. We're entering Game of Thrones territory with all of the politics and scheming, even within the same supposed like religious group, right?
Yep.
And we've
this is
got Matt.
outside of we don't even have the power play with the other religious groups like the Children of Light. We haven't had that
Yes,
kind of interaction
yes.
yet.
Yep.
There hasn't been, we haven't seen that interaction too much, except for the fact that the Children of the Light just torture the Aes Sedai. They hunt down the Aes Sedai.
They're like cutting their hands off for some.
Yeah,
so.
the questioner. Except, but that the Lord Commander advises people to also go to the Aes Sedai.
I have a question
For healing.
regarding that one, but let's continue. Let's continue with Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm. How about you, Arnold? I'm done. Those my three things.
Well, the one of the best things I guess I took away from this episode was how we discussed previously how the wheel is represented in various ways in the world building, right? And we discover a new one when we finally get a bit more background with the Tuataan. And what their belief system is. Now, originally, I
The
only
way of
thought,
the leaf.
the way of the leaf sounds so Japanese.
Sounds like a martial arts.
It's exactly very like
Reminds you of Shang-Chi
like
and the
Tao-
leaves that.
I was just thinking of Tai Chi, but yeah,
Tai
Shang-Chi, sure.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
When it was explained that the Tuataan are peoples who believe in this philosophy of no violence, zero violence,
Mm.
right? Even to the point of not defending themselves in case any kind of violence befalls on them, was fact. It just completely did not make any sense, right? When it was first being explained to me, until they came and explained that this is because we have this belief system.
This is the philosophy.
This is the philosophy and how it's associated to the wheel of time. When I forget the name of the character, when she was explaining how she was actually a victim of violence herself, in the case of her daughter, when she was explaining, there's a reason why we, she was explaining this to Perrin, and obviously Perrin is in a lot of stress, and he's dealing with the fact of what has happened to him and his wife, unfortunately. And she was asking him, so what good has it brought you picking up that axe? And he was about to challenge the same thing, throw the question back at her when he finds out about what happened to her daughter, and he said that no, I am fueled by revenge, but it's not the same kind of revenge that he's expecting, right? She wants revenge on violence by not
being violent.
violent. This is so
Yeah.
Gandhi. It's just amazing. And that she's trying to build a world that will be better for when the soul of her daughter returns, when the
Right.
wheel wills it, that her soul
Yeah.
returns. So it's like, wow. That's so looking forward
It-
to the
yeah.
future. Paying
Like
it
you said,
forward.
it's actually such a very Gandhi philosophy, the
Very
philosophy
Hindi.
of Gandhi,
Very Hindu.
Hindi.
Sorry. Very
That they believe in reincarnation, and they do good in order for the world to be good, so that they receive dharma, good karma, and then they
Um, what's what's
reincarnate.
what's really surprising, particularly for her character, is that she says that she's not even doing this for herself. I mean,
Mm.
obviously Perrin points out that you'll never be able to see the fruits of your labors, not even your children, not even your children's children. And she says, I'm not doing this
Yep.
for them. I'm doing this for my daughter when she comes back. So it's what? Whoa! That really. The second one was that we're seeing the trials, the splitting up of the Fellowship of Dragons,
Of the party.
the party. The splitting up. We're seeing that they every one of them, well, their little groups, are going through these challenges, these trials, in the hope of building them up and preparing them for, I guess, something much worse, the Inquisition that's going to happen probably when they reach the White Tower, and the characters are being challenged. Initially, I thought that Matt and Rand had it
Rand.
good because all they had to do was swim, and then they end up in a town, right? And then whereas Egwene and Perrin had to walk, I mean, for days probably, it seemed,
Being chased by
chased
wolves.
chased by wolves,
Chased.
and without any food or water in this desolate region. It's extremely windy, but the situations turn around, and obviously they're all going through different challenges, and it seems like Matt's the one who's now we're going specific to Matt in this particular one with that dagger, which seems to be imbued by some sort of, I'm assuming, power from the Dark One, but Paul already pointed this out. I was very curious of why he was actually gonna pointing the dagger at the Fade and says, I see you, as if to challenge the Fade or to indicate that I'm not afraid, I'm going to fight you. So I'm curious whether this sword is this dagger is actually of the Dark One or something entirely different. And it's also not clear. My assumption is that he was the one at fault with what happened to the family who was taking care of them. But it's not clear. Well, he had bloodied hands. I guess that's proof enough. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that it wasn't him. It was because the Fade was the one who did it. But it was just a bit sad. Logain's trial, unfortunately, seems to have happened off screen. But it was interesting. His character is very interesting, being somebody of so much power, but we can already see he's tainted by the madness already. We get those silhouettes of people of these people whispering in his ears, but he seems to be able to control and do good. So it's kind of like it's kind of it felt a bit unfair that he never got his trial and he got gentled before that. But I guess, and I have got more comments about that later on when we get to that section. So that's it for me.
Okay. Wow. So the whole thing of Matt's dagger, it just keeps on build again, going back to what we talked about a while ago. It just keeps going back to these are the first 4 episodes
We're
of
halfway.
14 book.
We are 14 books, yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, but we are halfway for the first season.
Yeah, we're halfway through the first season. I'm not sure where they're gonna end up.
Yes.
We do know the title of the last episode.
That's it.
So it seems that they're gonna wrap up as best they can the first
entirety
book.
of the first book. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I understand that the eye. What was that? What was the title of the
Eye of the World.
The Eye of the World is some sort of like extremely powerful artifact that that they need, that they acquire towards the end of the book. So I'm curious if that's the case. If that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. So that's we're just gonna keep on watching, see where the showrunners are gonna bring this this story of and if they're going to weave all of these different threads back together and how they're gonna do it.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
With all that weaving reference, you kind of know. My expectation now is kind of like these things need to work together.
Sooner or later, the DM is gonna have to bring together all of the different adventurers in the party.
I just hope it's not some sort of like Deus Ex that happens. And like, suddenly they're all together.
Suddenly they're all in the. They're not even in the White Tower. They just so happen to meet each other in a town somewhere,
Exactly.
somewhere before.
But they're all going to the same
Yeah, they're all
in
going
the same
east.
direction. Yeah.
They're all going east. They're
From
just taking different paths,
Yeah.
and those different paths are helping them grow in
Yeah. Shaping
their
them.
own. Yeah, the only person right now who, well, he did show some bits of it in the last episode
Yes.
when he like knocked down that door that supposedly was unknocked downable
I
when
have to
Rand did that.
say, I was mentioning something about the challenges, right? That these
Yeah.
trials. Rand seems to not be
That was so
getting
weak, right? It was like, what?
compared to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So Egwene has now manifested uh, something that seems to be an even greater and greater control of the one power, right? Even more.
Yeah, because it was
challenging.
even noted in this episode. Like Lan asked, does Logain have a greater power than Egwene?
Exactly. And she says no.
Right.
I
So
was like,
that's
what?
really a point of discussion.
Now, Perrin obviously is dealing with the grief, and
Mhm.
that's the growth that I'm thinking. And obviously, there's still the wolves,
The wolves,
All
the
right.
wolf that licked his wounds.
Matt's obviously been taken over by body snatchers. And he's got that awesome dagger as well. It's challenging
Yeah.
fades for whatever reason. And
Yeah.
I'd like to attach I'd like to attach the Gleeman. What's his name? Tom.
Tom Marilyn.
I'd like to attach
Tom.
Tom to Matt as the character development because they were the ones who first talked, and they seem to have this. Rand seems to not. I'm waiting.
We're
I didn't
waiting. We're
even
waiting
realize
for
the
what
door
big
was a representation of character development. It just didn't feel like it.
because I mean it's supposedly unbreakdownable, and then
Yeah.
he suddenly just breaks it down by sheer will, by sheer force.
By
He
the
was able
force
to
of his
break it
shoulder.
down.
He's the Hulk.
Yeah.
I
No,
guess you could
he's
also say-
Rand Al Thor, right?
Oh, he's Thor.
No, I'm
damn.
not. I'm not like giving any hints or clues. But
That's a terrible, terrible reference. I guess you could say. That you know how they were still scouting out the barn in the beginning of somewhere towards the early part of the episode, and they get ambushed by the owners,
the owner.
and then he quickly was able to assess that hey, you're not really gonna attack us
Yeah.
because blood.
Yeah.
So I guess, but I was chalking
He's
that up
very
more.
he's very earnest. He's very honest and sincere, and I think
Yeah.
that's how he's getting.
That's the character development.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's one, and I'm assuming he's also an extremely well-trained huntsman for him to know that the way
Yeah.
that the guy is notching his arrow will mean that it's not fatal, right?
So it's not like he's holding it with a fist, not a
Exactly.
Yeah.
finger.
No, what?
What did he say?
I know. I think it's because of how the shaft of the arrow is being held. I don't know. Yeah. I'm no
Hunter talk.
archer. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of archers, anyway, yeah. So, it's exciting for me as someone who's read the books. I'm excited for you guys, and I hope that they do follow the somewhat the main plot of the books. It's exciting. It's exciting for me. Seeing how you're going to discover how our four main characters, well actually if you count Nynaeve it's five main characters continue on their journeys towards where they're headed.
But
Right?
does it mean that they've somehow introduced a lot of things that they're not in the book?
Not a lot, but they did introduce some details. Like one particular detail really sticks out for me, and I think they added it in order to make one character a little more compelling compared to how he was in the books.
Okay.
The growth or the trial, as Arnold says it. The trial that this character goes through is more compelling because of one detail that they changed compared to the books.
So they added the door.
The door, yes, because actually Rand is just a throwaway character in the books. You don't see him after the
Guys,
first chapter.
First 4 episodes, this guy hasn't done anything. Let's put a door.
He has. He's like chop wood and like
He was doing.
he's got that sword with
He was
a
doing
with
it
a
Captain
heron.
America style. He was waiting for him to rip it off with his fingers.
Yeah, yeah. If he had used his shoulders, maybe that would have worked. Right? So yeah.
Exactly.
So those are the thoughts that we have. I'm excited to see what other thoughts, what other like aha moments you guys are gonna get. You're gonna get to the next episodes that we're gonna.
Oh no!
We're
One
gonna
thing
see.
I forgot to mention. Just quick aside. Thank God, Lan survived. I was just like, he's dead. And then, yeah, way to go, Nynaeve. Thanks for that burst of healing everybody. Like lay on hands on everybody.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
save.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
save.
right. And it's not just lay of hands because lay of hands is just like it's a 1d4.
It's very small. Yes, yeah.
That's
It's
true.
Like I don't know. What's a
Revive. I
area-
don't know.
what's an
Resurrect.
area of
It was
effect?
Erit's limit break basically.
Oh, nice.
See, yeah, and that all the more makes Nynaeve a more compelling character. I'm not saying that she's the one whose detail has been changed, but yeah, you do see that a lot the people behind the show are changing it, and I think that most of them are for the better.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them are for the better. They make us sympathize with the characters better, and they make their stories better for me so far.
So far.
So far, yeah, because we never know. It might be a Game of Thrones season 8.
No, throwaway final season.
Yeah.
To be fair, at the very least, the books are finished.
Yes. So they won't run out of material. So
already
the
know
only
how
the
it
only
goes.
way for them to screw this up is if they actually come up with more details that are so far from the source material.
Exactly.
Okay, and now we move on to the next segment of this new format of of Glorious Reacts. We now go to the theories, predictions, and expectations. Let's start with Paul. Paul, what are your expectations for the upcoming episodes?
I think it's more connected to my expectation, well, theory, I guess. It's a little bit more connected to the last few minutes of the show where, well, actually I have two. One is Nynaeve,
Mhm.
because of that burst of power.
Mm-hmm.
I think Moraine is kind of trying to ascertain if this is the person that she's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Because even at that point where she heals everyone, you see Logain say he says something like radiance.
Yeah,
something
because
like that, right?
that's what Moraine told him,
Yeah,
right? That was Logan,
Because-
right? Oh,
That was
Moraine,
Logain,
right?
yes.
because Logain because Moraine said it was not even a flicker.
A
It was
flicker of a
it was-
candle
it was a
in the face of the
prick.
sun.
Yeah.
That was such a good line.
And imagine that, because he's already considerably very, very powerful.
Yes.
If he's able
It
to break
takes
free
two.
of...
It takes two very strong
To
Aes
shield.
Sedai
Yeah.
to shield him.
So that one, and so it becomes a question of what does it mean for her, especially
Hmm.
since we also learn that her parents knew of the old tongue, right? So
Hmm.
because that was the last thing they told her. I forgot the sentence again. But the last thing they mentioned to her before they kept her
Yeah.
safe was a line which was taken or it was said by the king,
Yeah.
right? So it looks like her lineage is from, was it
Menatherin.
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 There,
But isn't
Menatherin.
he like hundreds of years prior?
Yeah, the Menatherin was like hundreds of. I'm not sure if it's in the previous age, but yeah.
Okay.
It's like
Prior to the breaking, prior
yeah.
to breaking of the world by the previous dragon. Yeah.
Yep.
So but it looks like her blood comes from that line.
royal.
I'm not saying the kings, but it's from Minetherin.
Manetheren.
There you go. Okay.
Or
So
probably from the someone in adjacent who heard the king say that to the queen, right?
yeah, or it was something
And then
popular.
it becomes like their no, it becomes
Yeah.
like their house words.
Yeah.
Wow.
But within that kingdom, basically, which brings me to Tom. Okay, and then for him,
Ooh, this is interesting.
because the way he fought the Fade, it seemed like he fought them before.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like he was moving really well for someone who's supposedly old, right? I would even dare say it kind of looked like some Legolas moves in there with the daggers.
With the
more
double
of
daggers.
But a slower Legolas, not as fast as
like a strider.
Legolas in his prime. But
Yeah, I tend to agree with Arnold. I'm thinking more of Aragorn.
Aragorn, okay, so
Yeah,
a little
because
bit,
he's like
a
he
little
comes
bit more
out of
strider.
nowhere, right?
Yep.
Comes
Right.
out of nowhere in a bar in an inn,
Yeah,
helps two of our heroes
yeah.
to
Instead of a ranger,
escape.
he's a bard this time.
He's a
Yeah.
instead of yeah. So it feels like he's battled them before. He knows because he says he knows of them because he's knowledgeable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? A Gleeman has one of the tools, or one of the power, not power, but the tools he has is knowledge. He has a lot of it. So
Well, it's power because knowledge is power.
yep, that's true. And so I feel like he also comes from a lineage that's linked to that previous age or age prior. That seems like from it he has warriors, a line of warrior that maybe a retired warrior. Okay. So those are my theories.
Mine's a bit.
Wow.
So mine's
Yo.
stemming from the same amazing scene towards the end, wherein Nynaeve goes all, Dark
Super Saiyan?
Phoenix.
Yeah,
Um,
heal all.
Dark Phoenix.
And my thinking is that so remember how she was raised by the previous wisdom wanted to present herself to the White Tower in the hope of being trained as an Aes Sedai. But she was turned away because of how she looked and all that.
Supposedly
Came
how
from-
she looked.
Right, exactly. And so she's harboring this inherited hatred for the Aes Sedai. But I think they will recognize her capability, as all of the sisters there completely were shocked by the
Except for the one who's dead, though.
Well,
Why?
yeah,
That's a question I've got for you guys. Why do you think that sister didn't get revived?
I don't think it works if you've died. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
If you're
They
wounded,
were close to dying, not dead.
yes. So
Okay.
Lan, for example, still managed to get healed because, well, apart from the fact
He was
that
still spurting blood. Yeah.
spurting blood. It was this like Night of the Living Dead kind of practical effects. And that was the trigger, obviously, for Nynaeve. Interesting relationship those two will be having, I'm assuming. But he was still alive. He was dying, but he was still alive. So I'm assuming that's the limitation of there. If she's capable of mending the body, and if their belief system doesn't include the soul, then maybe that's it, right? So that's my theory there. But my point is that her power is obviously something that is not unusual, as most we would see most of the Aes Sedai able to heal one at a time, right? With a lot of extra hand gestures. Whereas she just laid down her hair with
Just made it go straight up.
She did just go willow, and then suddenly it was like, "Rah," right? Whipped her hair back and forth. And,
Yeah.
and then, so I'm pretty sure that they'll be interested in having her presented also to the White Tower as a potential Aes Sedai. So I'm not assuming. But she will have this problem because of how much she's been brought up to dislike that structure, that way of doing things. Being a wisdom as a free spirit, I guess, is much better for her. And my second one was that I did mention already that the dagger. We will be seeing that dagger a bit more. Matt's dagger. And that. So my initial belief is that it's the Dark One's influence. But if he's bearing if he's showing this blade at the Fae, well, I guess you could say that since it's the same power, it allows him to notice the agents of the Dark One. I don't know. Maybe he'll be able to commune with the scary dude in the dreams guy a bit more. I'm assuming that's the Dark One. Right?
That's Sam Hain.
Maybe.
Right? It's that because it's doing that Sauron eye, the lidless eye kind of flashing in the mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
A little too often.
Yeah.
So,
maybe.
I'm assuming that's the
Yeah.
Dark One.
Well, you had something to say?
No, I was just saying that whenever I see him, I don't. I feel like it's supposed to be scary, but it's a little bit funny, like the animation they use for him, because it reminds me of a Ghostbusters villain, Sam Hain, the guy with the pumpkin head,
Seriously?
because of the eyes, like the glowing eyes,
The glowing eyes and the glowing mouth.
Yeah. It's like it's not imposing. Like it's not like if the Nazgul, is it the Nazgul that when they go stealth, is that stealth, like when they're like black and white, everything's black and white?
If whenever like Frodo wears the one
the ring
form. Yeah, that's their true
yeah. When you see their true form, right? It's very imposing. This one just looks funny. So I don't know how they want to represent the Dark One. I mean, the silhouettes, the representation of madness, they look more menacing than this dream image that they have. So I don't know. I feels like a weird way to represent it.
Yeah. So whoever's behind the Wheel of Time, take notes. Take notes. You need to make the dream version
look a little bit more
scarier. Yeah. Yeah. The dagger is like it's a key thing. Yeah.
Oh.
Wait. He said key. I think it opened something.
Oh.
Again, I'm not dropping any clues.
You just did. I'm excited. It's dagger.
But yeah, it's really cool that to see Nynaeve showing that kind of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She seemed, because I thought Nynaeve was just going to be like us. She's like a representation of the audience,
the everyman who like witnesses the greatness.
Yeah. So I thought that was it. And so in the beginning, because she had a very strong start, right? She's this person who's much learned about the ways of the world,
the ways of the wind.
The wind.
Right? She communes. She hears the wind, which I assume is another representation of the power of the one power. And then she obviously guides these young women down towards a path of adulthood, of womanhood. And then suddenly she's being pushed around, right? Like she had no power. She did manage to kill a Trolloc, which is,
yeah.
Cool. But after that, she's more of like discovering things that are. She was way in over her head, kind of like that. So, us seeing her being able to suddenly do this much, wield this much or channel this much, weave this much power is fascinating. It's exciting to see that.
Yeah, and we do see that I'm sure that we all saw that all of the five younger characters are actually going through the standard heroic journey.
Yeah.
Like they're now they're now outside of their comfort zones. Literally outside of their comfort zone of Emond's Field, in the two rivers, and they're now starting to grow out of conflict.
There you go.
Right? They're gaining life experiences. They're gaining life-changing experiences.
And they've already met their friend, a friend. Oh, several friends. Isn't that part
Several
of the
friends.
heroic journey? You're supposed to
Yeah.
meet people. That's gonna
Meet
help you along the way.
NPCs.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
That's part of it.
Right, except for Rand. Rand's only
To be fair,
character.
he did well. No, again, just
Well, there was a
Matt-
bonding
Matt
moment with him and Tom.
There was that talk in the barn which felt a bit,
Yeah.
a bit
Yeah.
awkward. I'm here for you, mate.
I'm here, you know that, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It seems like Rand is like, yeah, he was just a throwaway character actually.
Yeah.
Well, no. I know for a fact that he's not. So.
He's
'Cause
Thor. Rand Al
I-
Thor.
Yes.
I stumbled upon it. But,
Some
Let's
stuff.
see.
Okay. Thank you for your theories. We'll see how all of your theories, predictions, and expectations pan out. Maybe we can come back to some of these in later episodes to check if any of them actually happened, or yeah, how they develop in the upcoming episodes. Okay, we now go to the key question of today's episode. In today's episode, we saw Logain, who was so like what I said in the intro, is a self-professed Dragon Reborn. He's Professor Dragon Reborn. Yeah, but his reign as Dragon Reborn didn't last too long, because he was first of all captured by the Aes Sedai, and then towards the end of today's episode, after seeing the sheer power of Nynaeve, became a gentle man. Yeah. So my question for you guys, and before that, there was a lot of discussion among the Aes Sedai, and Liandrin of the Red Aja was very adamant about gentling Logain even before he got to the White Tower, but most of the others were against it because they didn't want to go against the wishes of the Amarylline Seat. But yeah, in the end, they did end up gentling Logain. My
Their hands
question for you
were pushed. Yeah.
yes, they were pushed to do it. Yeah, so my question for you guys, were the Aes Sedai, was Liandrin justified in pushing for the gentling of Logain?
I have to raise my hand.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
Jump right in and say, and obviously state the obvious in that there was no. I mean, so as mentioned, the gentling happened as an effect of being pushed when the army of Logain, or the followers of Logain, came to rescue him. It appeared that he was completely in control of was actually just waiting, biding his time, and he broke out of that containment
Shield.
the shield of the two of the two. It was who was there? Kareen, the green of the green Aja, and Moraine was the other one, right?
No, not yet. It was Liandrin.
It was Leandrin. Okay. And he broke free like it was nothing. So obviously he was sort of expecting it, preparing for it, waiting for it. I don't know. And because of this, and obviously after that, they were trying to contain him. So I'm of the mind that we were not sure if the madness actually took the better of him. We've seen him able to control that impulse in the beginning of the episode, wherein he spared the king of whatever kingdom he was in the beginning.
Yeah.
To get the name.
Gieldan.
Yeah, Gieldan, yeah.
Gieldan, there you go. And because of that, he became a loyal follower. So, because his goal was to not become the dragon that broke the world, but to grow the dragon that
The
mends
dragon.
it. So he was ignoring or fighting back clearly very very strained though, but fighting back the influences of the madness. We didn't get to see an opportunity. He didn't get an opportunity to show this to the Aes Sedai.
Mm.
Unfortunately, he fought the containment of the Aes Sedai the second time when the army arrived, and which led him to actually killing one of them. Unfortunately, and this one is what I was mentioning about their hand, the Aes Sedai's hand getting pushed and gentling him. So it's like there was their fear of him or what he can do is so much stronger, I guess, than any. It would have been very difficult for them to be talked out of actually gentling him at that point in time. Is what I'm saying. If things had settled down, let's say, and there was an opportunity for them to talk, I think they would have still gentled him. So, it being justified, I personally think that it wouldn't have mattered. It's just that they are single-minded when it comes to a man wielding the one power. Right? They would have. It doesn't matter.
Yep. I totally agree with what Arnold said. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And then the decision was taken from them when the king attacked, right? So it was like he broke away, he killed one person, he killed one of the Aes Sedai. So, and then he was fighting back. He killed everyone, they got healed, and what was left to do? There was nothing else.
Well, technically, he didn't kill everyone. That
because
was
they got
of...
healed back.
No, because it was because of the attack. With
oh,
the two
you're
axes.
right. Yeah. Because of the berserker.
Yeah.
Berserker. When
Berserker.
Stefan jumped in, it was like, okay, he's going to do it.
I actually don't know why Landon stopped him.
Why?
He was there. He was right in front of him. Stefan ran
Past.
past land, yeah, to get to Logain. So I don't know. But yeah, that decision I think was taken out of their hands. The whole thing with the politics was just,
it was all thrown to the side. You know, imminent danger.
And
but then again, if you take a look at it, the army, Logain's army had already been subdued.
Yeah.
Because they had already defeated the army outside.
They planted landmines along the forest.
Just blowing stuff up everywhere.
Yeah.
People were just flying all around.
Yeah, and yeah, but my another question is like, why do you think Moraine joined the gentling? Because if you I mean, in the past 3 episodes we've seen that Moraine, her mission is not necessarily to gentle the Dragon Reborn, but to bring the Dragon Reborn into their fold so that they can use the Dragon Reborn. Right?
But
That's basically her thing.
I think Moraine, after she had an interaction with him, after they talked, she already knew that he wasn't the one. I think she already knew.
And it was also the I guess the loss of the sister also affected her. And the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
She seemed to be the most stoic. She's very stoic. I'm not sure if it's a characteristic of the blues, but I haven't seen anything.
Well, it's supposed to be a characteristic of all Aes Sedai.
Oh, well, clearly that's not the case in this adaptation. So at this particular for the red in this one, so I think it was just she was brought along by the heat of the moment. Somebody's died and he's going out of control, and he would probably kill all of the rest. Is what her fear was.
And that is it for this episode. The wheel has been turning for ages, and it will continue to turn and weave in the days and weeks to come. As always, dear audience, we hope you tune in to the next episode and continue to hang out with us. Till then, bye.
Bye.